12 years ago, I was watching telly and there was a documentary on, and this morning Samuel Jackson was on there talking about prostate cancer. I've never heard nothing about it. I was 49 at the time. But because I go to the gym and I had a bit of backache, I went to the doctors, and while I was there, I mentioned about having a test. He did at them times mention about the finger in the bottom, and I did tell him no. Then he says, oh, we can do it another way, so I had the blood test. About 2 weeks later, he called me back and said there was a problem with my blood test. My PSA was high, but I knew nothing about that, what it meant at the time. It was about 8. So from there, it was the usual, Dudley Road. I went there, had a biopsy. Then after the biopsy, they says, we're going to let you know, I think he said in about 4 weeks. But when you had a letter come through the door about a week later, I knew something was wrong. So on the day, me and my daughter went back to Dudley Road because my daughter worked at the hospital anyway. So we went in this room, and it was the most scariest thing going, because all of a sudden you see like 2 nurses come in the room as well. So I was sitting there, and he says, we've got your results back, and we found cancer. And when he started to talk to me, I didn't hear a word he said. I said, you know what, just talk to my daughter. Then after that, because the way I felt, I went straight home and I told my mom, my brother, everybody, because I wasn't scared then, but I was adamant I was going to die. So I went and saw a surgeon. Well, I was supposed to have one surgeon, but my daughter told me, you're not having that surgeon. I'll get someone from work to do it. But when I saw this surgeon, just like most men in here are going to be frightened, I sat there and he was saying, we need to remove it, but I need to tell you, you might end up being incontinent and you might have erectile dysfunction. And you know what I said to him? You're not doing it. Murada dead. And that is the truth. That's what I said to him at the time. But about 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, you know when your brain settled down and everything, I had to make a decision what to do. But one thing at the time, you could have had radical prostatectomy, have it removed, or you could have brachytherapy, even though at the time none of it meant nothing to me. And one thing you're always going to come across, the person what does brachytherapy will tell you it's the best. The person what does radical prostatectomy will tell you it's the best. At some point, you're going to have to sit there and make this decision. But the beauty of the way things have moved on now, you can meet someone like me who you can actually talk to and have a conversation just to help to guide you. Because when I was going through, there was no support group, there was nothing. So every time you go to the hospital and they tell you all these things, you're sort of just going through the motions. But eventually I decided to have mine removed. And I did have what someone mentioned earlier, nerve-sparing surgery. But the only reason I knew about that, because prior to that I was doing loads of research. So I had mine removed, I think it was about in October. Then when you have your operation, you wake up, you've got a catheter inside you. I had my catheter removed about a week later. Then the next big shock was that he was incontinent. I remember I was having a shower, and while you're having a shower, your wee's just running out your body. All these sort of things no one actually tells you about. Lucky for me, because I was so-called young at the time, 49 coming to 50, I recovered past that. Then a while after that I decided, because I couldn't find any help when I needed it, I want to find a way I could help other people. So since then I've been volunteering now for 12 years. And I meet people around Handsworth everywhere all the time. But the brick wall I still meet, when I tell them 1 in 4 black men are going to get prostate cancer, most of them say, no, foolishness. A brother I went to school with, same age, when I first told him, he says, there's no way. He says, who do you know who's got prostate cancer? I says, nobody. Well, he says, it can't be 1 in 4. But what I'm trying to say to him, black men hide it. I don't hide mine, so I talk to people about it all the time. But that same brother, about 4 years ago, after that, he ended up with prostate cancer. Everybody in this room knows someone with prostate cancer, but we hide it. All of us, this sort of age, you've all got someone you're close to that's got prostate cancer, but they hide it. But I think if you end up sharing it, it benefits